David and Goliath. Chris is a boy who likes to play guitar. He plans to perform in an audition. But Chris did not feel confident and was afraid to appear in front of the stage because of the large audience. Then, Superbook takes Chris, Joy, and Gizmo to go back in time to David and Goliath era. David is a young boy with small body and a reddish face. He was the youngest of Jesse's 8 sons who loved to tend sheep. David was appointed by God to become the king of Israel through the prophet Samuel. And since then, the Holy Spirit has watched over David and has always been by his side to protect and guide David. One day, David was ordered by his father Jesse to deliver food to his brothers who were preparing to fight against the Philistines. Chris, Joy, and Gizmo met David in halfway. They go to the battlefield together. When they have reached the battlefield, David looked for his brothers. At that time, Goliath, a giant Philistine soldier, came forward and challenged Israel. Goliath scared the people of Israel because Goliath's body was very big and tall, and he was also skilled in war. Unlike the Israel, David was not afraid of Goliath because he believed that the Holy Spirit would protect him. David intends to fight and defeat Goliath. Hearing this, King Saul adopted David because he was very young. Those words did not make David back down. He was sure he could defeat Goliath with the presence of the Holy Spirit. David also said that he had often killed lions and bears that tried to eat his sheep. Chris, who can play the guitar, plays songs with David, who can play the harp. David said that Chris had a talent for playing the guitar. Chris asked David, "Why are you so sure that you can beat Goliath?" David replied, "I know that the Holy Spirit will always be by my side. He will give me strength when I'm in the midst of difficulties." Chris came to believe that if God gave him strength, then the large audience would not be a problem. The next day, David went to get a stone and put it in a bag. Different from Goliath, who was wearing armor, David came forward only wearing ordinary clothes. When he saw David, Goliath immediately looked down on him and laughed at him. Goliath also insulted David because David was small and young. Then David took a stone and threw it with all his might, so that it hit Goliath's head, causing him to fall and die. Seeing this, the Philistines immediately ran away from the battlefield. Superbook takes Chris, Joy, and Gizmo back to the future. When it's time for Chris to perform in the audition, he remembered David's word that God will always be by his side to give him strength in the midst of difficulties. Chris, who used to be afraid to appear in front of the stage, became confident because he believed that God would always be by his side. From this story, we can learn that God will always be by our side to always guard, protect, accompany, guide, and give us strength through the Holy Spirit. So, we should not be afraid when facing problems, challenges, and difficulties in this life. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 40 said, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not dismay, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand."
From this story, we can learn that we don't need to be afraid of all the problems we have to face because we know that God will always be by our side to protect us from everything. Deuteronomy said, "Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, not be afraid of them. For the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you, not forsake you."